Prince William and Prince Harry, remembering their mother, Princess Diana. They were only entering their teens when she died, but they knew full well their mom was perhaps the most famous woman in the entire world.
Did she ever sit you down and talk about the fame and the weight that it presented?
It was obvious.
Yeah.
I think for both of us, it was just so obvious that when she comes back from doing whatever she'd been doing, whether it was tennis and she'd been chased down the road or doing a public engagement, it was clear to see that the pressure that she was under sometimes, depending on where she'd been and what she'd been doing.
They learned early in life the press could be cruel. As much as Diana's fairy tale wedding to Prince Charles had captivated the world,
Delighted and happy. And I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on.
their bitter separation and divorce made for even juicier headlines. Reporters followed Diana everywhere, documented her every romantic liaison, and scrutinized her in ways few people could endure.
I really remember one story in particular that was just quite hard for her to deal with was when she was criticised personally about her body, and someone had said something about, she'd had cellulite or something like that. And I remember that for a woman, in the public eye, and she tried, she's so hard, very glamorous and meant a lot and
always in the
made
gym.
an effort, and always in the gym. But for any woman, I imagine, it's outrageous that these people sit behind their desks and comment on it. And there were many times that we just sort of had to cheer her up and tell her that she was the best thing ever.
But they could only cheer her up so much. In 1993, Diana announced she was cutting back on her charity appearances. She just couldn't stand the media crush.
Over the next few months, I will be seeking a more suitable way of combining a meaningful public role with, hopefully, a more private life. My first priority will continue to be our children, William and Harry.
But the ugly details of the royal split soon spilled into public view. In 1994, when William was 12 and Harry was 9, their father, Prince Charles, admitted in a TV interview that while he was married to Diana, he'd carried on an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. A year later, Diana gave her own interview to the BBC, confessing her bulimia, her own adultery, and her acute awareness of Camilla. A royal soap opera that assured the press would keep hounding Diana, literally, until the moment of her death.
A short while ago, Buckingham Palace confirmed the death of Diana, Princess of Wales.
Afterward, the world mourned her. Thousands of people left bouquets, stuffed animals, and personal notes at the gates of her London palace.
She just suddenly seemed so happy in the last few weeks, and I was really thought she looked happy with her poor boys.
William and Harry, just 15 and 12 at the time, walked behind her casket before millions of people. What was it like to be on the inside, looking out?
After our mother's death, there was so much of us being in the public, and then seeing stuff on TV and reading stuff saying, "Oh, they show no emotion," this sort of stuff. That's our public side. We don't feel comfortable. If we don't feel comfortable about pouring our eyes out in front of thousands of people, then that's our problem. We've got each other.
Also,
to talk
you're right.
To. Yeah, well, exactly. People can portray that as much as they want, but we've got each other to talk to. So.
Remember, in the months following, there was this kind of cry to the media: "Leave the boys alone, and give them time." Did you feel that worked? Did you feel that you were given a break for a while?
But it didn't really matter, whether they did in a way, because it was the enormity of the occasion and the pressure and all eyes on, as it were. You just felt wherever you went, people were watching you for just because they were interested to see how you react or what you were thinking and things like that. And that was quite hard. I think at the end of the day, the media, you just shut that out.
In the days after your mom died, and so many tragic images, and it certainly was a sad time, but I do remember consciously thinking that it was good that you had each other, that you weren't only children, that you could lean in on each other. Have you talked about that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course we do. I mean, we are both. I think we're both very grateful that each of us were there, sort of as a shoulder to cry on if we needed to.
The news media, for the most part, kept a respectful distance as William graduated from Eton, England's premier private school, then went on to St. Andrews, went to Eton, then to Sandhurst Military Academy. William also attended Sandhurst after college, graduating after his younger brother. Both now serve in the military, but the cameras were never far away, looking for hints to how the boys got along with their father, Prince Charles. He'd been criticized while Diana was alive, with his son was more effective now.
As they bench, the photographer's father gives sons a hug.
My arms aren't long enough to get roasted. Oh, yes, nice.
And what about Charles' new wife, Camilla? His every appearance with her was studied for insights into royal family dynamics.
I'm a good sport.
And as Harry and William reached adulthood, the spotlight on them sometimes grew white hot.
Might as well, why not?
Harry, in particular, has been burned more than once. When he was 17, an experiment with marijuana landed him on the front page. He's been photographed in rowdy scenes at fancy nightclubs, making many a headline writer's day. And in 2005, he landed on the front page again when he showed up at a costume party in a Nazi uniform, an embarrassing incident for which he issued a formal apology.
You know, Harry's had sort of his
Careful what you're saying.
fair share of hard time given by the media, and at the end of the day, no matter what you think, the only person you're ever going to get to know to be able to form that opinion is him. No matter what you read or what you see, you're never going to know someone unless you actually get to meet them and talk to them properly. And that's what I say about everyone.
That's actually the most amusing point, is meeting somebody and then going, you're so not what I thought you were. You know, to both of us, to our father, to everybody, you're not what I thought you. And like, well, what did you think? Like, oh, I best not say it to your face like this. I'm like, well, thanks a lot.
I hope you mean that they're pleasantly surprised and not
well, no, it's nice because they
you.
believe what they read,
Right.
which is, God knows what is said in the papers that we don't read about. That, it's just poisonous.
If you look at a Madonna, or you look at a Michael Jordan, incredibly famous at a certain period of their lives, but there will come a time in their lives where people will look at them on the street and go, he used to be famous. Michael Jordan used to play basketball. You two are going to be famous every day of your lives.
Well, we don't know about that, maybe.
Well, but, I mean, you will always hold the position you hold.
I think it's very different when you're famous for sport, famous for this or this. We were born into it, so, if you're born into it, I think it's normal to feel